method of business would persist until the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. The NWA as a central governing body, with its singular, undisputed world champion, would be absolute and undeniable. This control, combined with the expansion of the interstate highway system, and the inevitable popularity and availability of regional television, would usher in an era of wrestling that was defined by what would come to be known as the territory system. The territory system would dominate wrestling for nearly 4 decades. While the borders, authority, popularity, and obedience of individual NWA territories was in a near constant state of flux, to this day the impact and influence of these territories is still felt. Each territory had its own signature promoter and star. While it is impossible to cram these characteristics into a static, concrete map, we are damn sure going to try anyway.
So open up your eyes before it gets too late. Now one man, there's no way you can hit the streetlights running, don't give a damn. A simple explanation that you'll never find. Sinners never sacrifice, we never leave love alone. Is hate really worth the price? Look at what we've done. Never care for compromise, always threatening someone's life, and it feels like the end of the world.
All right, welcome to another episode of This Week in Pro Wrestling with your host, Mike Monte and Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy, another week in pro wrestling.
Yes, sir. Gripping and exciting.
Gripping and exciting. Well, we talk about competition between AEW and the WWE. The WWE's actually now has to worry about the true competition that they're up against, and which would be NFL and Monday Night Football. Back in the Attitude Era, you remember that I think at one point the NFL was going to pay the WWE not to be on Monday nights.
What?
But we saw Raw drop to a 2.94 viewers, marking the first time. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I got the wrong number. I think it dipped tremendously from Monday Night Football. I do apologize.
Okay.
Thoughts on that? WWE going to have a rough 16 weeks?
Well, not to make a joke of it, but I don't think they have... Half their concern in New York is taken care of because the Jets are off to their usual Jet start, so that won't...
but the Giants...
you know what,
Giants.
though? What does a Jet fan have to look forward to other than a Monday Night Football game? It doesn't involve his team usually, and he can enjoy it for the neutrality of it.
That's a good point.
So I guess that will pull away. It's a tough time of year, but you know what? It's not like... they haven't been there before. They don't know how to deal with this. They deal with it every year, don't they?
Right.
I think that any unnecessary worry is unnecessary. They'll be fine. They'll get their numbers. I like the shows recently. They're doing a good job. It'll be status quo, business as usual. The machine will roll on.
Raw this week saw Dakota Kai and Sky defeat Rodriguez and Aaliyah for the tag team belts. Too soon after those two just won the belt 2 weeks ago?
I got to be honest. The second that they won the belts, I was like, what? Because Raquel Rodriguez, I think we could do lots with her, personally.
Yeah.
Aaliyah is... Aaliyah's
eye candy.
She's beautiful, absolutely. Right. But as far as her overall, there's not much impact going on there. I don't get a sense of oh wow. So I was scratching my head from the moment they won the belts. I'm not surprised that they lost them so quickly. And they lost them to a very good team.
Do you think they gave them the belts just because everybody thought that?
Little rub.
Yeah.
Everybody's waiting for Sasha and Naomi, as you know, but apparently Sasha may not even want to come back for a while. I was hearing some strange stuff coming out of Sasha. Like she's into music and stuff. I don't know if you've heard any of this.
Yeah.
So she may not even... Isn't that weird? You must be disappointed. I'm slightly disappointed.
You know what?
And doesn't Naomi feel like a sucker for going along with this? Because what if she doesn't come back?
They were just doing the New York fashion show.
Okay.
So, listen, there's life beyond wrestling.
Of course there is. And if that's their deal, I would like, could you make it clear for us idiots who are waiting for your return?
Yeah, it's true. true.
I mean, come on,
Johnny
guys.
Gargano made his return against Chad Gable after 281 days off. What do you think of that?
I thought it was ironic that both fantastic wrestlers, but I find it ironic that a guy who got tagged with the nickname Shorty Gable was actually, I think, bigger than Johnny Gargano.
Very interesting.
Didn't you find that interesting? I found that interesting. By the way, a wonderful clinic, as to be expected. You know, I enjoyed it. You were probably like, who are these two?
No, it's not. It's not that. I just keep thinking like people love Gargano. You love Gargano.
No, I didn't say that. I am not a fan of Johnny Gargano. I am not. I can't stand Johnny Gargano for the record, but I know that I recognize he's got a Daniel Bryan type effect on his fans, and there's a lot of them. That's where I stand.
Here's the problem, I think.
Great wrestler.
Bryan, Rey Mysterio. We've had Sullivan in here. You spoke to Sullivan. You like it. You're the first guy that pushed the small man.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways. I think that's a once in a lifetime type of thing, number one. Number two, Daniel Bryan plays a lot bigger.
Sure does.
I think Gargano can do fine in the WWE right now until you put him in the ring across from an Edge and a Randy Orton, and then it just becomes...
Or Bobby Lashley.
Right. Then it becomes
right.
Visually...
Right.
Not acceptable. Even the fan cannot.
The fan wants it though. Sometimes I can't explain to you Kofi Kingston. I'll never be able to.
Kofi Kingston's 6'3".
He's not a big dude. I'm not going with that. I understand that for the normal person, he's a large guy.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, in the world of professional wrestling, when I think big guys, he doesn't even come close. Let's be real. I think Biggie Langston is a big guy. He's a big dude. Biggie. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
That's a big dude. Kevin Owens is a big dude. He doesn't have to be a steroid monster.
No.
He's a big dude. Samoa Joe, big dude. Sting, big dude. Right?
But
Kurt Angle, not a small dude, pretty big dude.
But you could have a smaller dude still look like he compete against a much bigger guy.
Agreed. Rick McGraw was one of the best of our younger days.
So what point is Gargano just way too small?
I don't know. It would depend on who does he go through to get to what level you want to get him to. If you're a clever booker and you recognize that the fans love him and are pulling a Daniel Bryan or a Kofi Kingston and want him to win the belt, you carefully plot how he gets there.
So you mean like have a theory somehow beat a Lashley
now you're
and then
following
kind of
me.
Shrink down the
Now you're following me. And yet the title still remains the title and,
right, so
and the prestige still remains the prestige. It's happened before.
As a fan,
Rey Mysterio held it, like you said. Bryan held it. It's happened before.
As a fan,
it's got to be done right.
As a fan, fatal 4-way match comes up, and Gargano's in there with Lashley, Braun Strowman,
dude, stop,
and Roman Reigns.
They're not doing that. But that's a bad booker. I'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
But then you're limited with the guy.
All you're doing is showing that he can't go toe to toe with the big guys.
Then you're limiting.
What you're actually doing, if you do it the way, and I've seen Triple H do it, and in the past they've done it, if you do it correctly, you can get the belt onto somebody like Daniel Bryan. But again, it depends on the path you take, and yet you can also cleverly remove him by just as quickly returning to the way we look at wrestling. Daniel Bryan got to that ladder, got through certain guys, and here comes a giant that we both know would destroy him. He comes in and destroys him. Changing of the guard.
Like a Lesnar type of thing.
Changing of the
Kofi
guard,
Kingston,
it happens. It happens. And that's the way to do it. I mean, people bitch about it to this day, but they're only bitching because they were mad that you took the belt off our beloved Kofi. Brock Lesnar's destroying him made every sense in the world. Stop. The end, you know?
Finn Balor defeating Matt Riddle. What's the deal with this?
What's the deal with it is that Triple H is back in charge and sees in Finn Balor what Vince McMahon didn't see in Finn Balor. And that's all a philosophical difference. That's what it is. When I look at Finn Balor... But
you're going to cool off?
No. I don't believe
cooling him off.
I don't think that this really is cooling off Matt Riddle, believe it or not.
He's losing every match.
He's losing to Finn Balor right now.
And he lost to Seth Rollins.
I expected him to lose to Seth Rollins. And I'll agree with you, I did not expect him to lose to Finn Balor, but... knowing Finn Balor's entire career and seeing what I've seen out of Finn Balor, I'm actually glad that they're giving him this push because I feel like, okay, I'll use the football analogy. It's never right to lose your job, your position on the team. It's never truly right when you're injured and don't get a chance to reclaim your spot. I feel that for the last, and he's been a great company guy. We both can say that at least.
Sure.
He's given us great matches and done whatever they've asked of him. But I know this much: he's the first Universal Champion. I was there that night that he won the Universal Championship. He tore his fucking shoulder up to shreds, as we know, because of the Seth Rollins thing and then what happened during the match. He's never been afforded that opportunity again. The fans loved him. And they continue to love him somehow over all these years. So I think he's a main event player? When he's pushed that way? Sure he is. I've always felt he is. Do I think he's a little smaller? Yes, I do. I feel the real Finn Balor, like the demon Finn Balor, plays pretty big, is what I'm trying to say.
But you're cooling off when your top stars.
I know you feel that way, but I feel like when they look at Balor Riddle, they see a legendary feud going on here, and they're just starting it.
You're just in the middle of a possible legendary feud, right?
Matt Riddle's doing some good shit. I'm glad you said possible.
Bianca Belair
Possible
has an open challenge against Sonya, who comes out as Sonya Deville.
You must have been marking out all over the house.
I think they could have just did a better job.
Wasn't it
with that.
underwhelming? Isn't that frustrating?
Yeah, it's
you know
like
you could get more out of that.
open challenges should be fun challenges.
Right.
You know, what would it hurt that if you had an Alexa Bliss come out and they go to a double count out? You know what I mean?
Right. Honestly, I wish they had given it more time because Sonya didn't get to shine enough.
No.
I think Sonya should have been allowed to get real physical with her, don't you?
Yeah.
That match should have gone another 10 minutes. Let them really kill each other.
This was funny. Almost came back, which I was wondering what happened to
Yeah,
the
did
guy.
you see who almost beat up?
He beat some locals.
He beat up some locals. Yeah, that's rough. Of course, the timing is immaculate, isn't it?
It always is.
Yeah, it's
it
immaculate.
always is.
Hey, wait, no, I'm not going to let that slide. Hey, Jared, you got those local competitors that almost beat up. You mind showing? What you see that?
There you go.
Do you see who almost beat up?
You got your picture.
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, timing is. Look at these guys. Look at these slaps.
Jared, this might be the worst thing you ever did is put this TV up because he wants to direct you on pictures all the
No,
time.
it's good. Jared was distracted and he missed the timing of it. So I wanted him. You.
Jared, don't forget about that picture.
Jared understands, don't you, Jared? He understands. Yeah. But did you see those guys that got annihilated by Omos?
There you go.
He's a bully.
Edge versus Dominic Mysterio, dude.
Gives me nothing.
Edge versus Dominic Mysterio.
Why should I give you anything? Edge versus Dominic Mysterio. Well, you're mad at this feud. You're mad.
It's stupid.
Why? Because the
Stupid.
son turned on the father.
What son?
Like there's no such thing in the entire history of mankind.
I guess maybe.
You think? You think it's never happened? I mean,
I
what
guess.
I know you find it morally offensive, and I
No,
understand.
I just think it's stupid.
I would
don't
never
know.
have turned on my father. Why do you think it's stupid?
Like you can walk away from your father, but to clothesline him, it's like, come on. It's like, I don't know. It's like, and then what's the deal? What is Ray's all of a sudden allegiance to Edge?
I don't know
What does that happen?
I'm confused by it. I don't.
And now where's the mother and the sister?
Yeah, what happened to the sister?
I don't know.
She ran off with Moppy?
All right, we're almost out of time, dude. So this Wednesday, it's already been announced. Moxley, Danielson, AEW title. Thoughts? New York.
Oh, yeah. Wait, is that Arthur Ashe?
Yeah.
You're going to do the Arthur Ashe thing? I don't know, Mike. What do you think? Are you excited about it? I mean, we've got two.
I think that
I think it'll be a good match.
AEW cannot move the needle with the wrestlers they have.
No.
You know,
No.
I think their better approach is start building within.
They're not doing that. They're giving you Dean Ambrose versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
That's what they're giving you.
right.
What's so original about that?
Nothing.
We've set them free. Don't you see the artistic difference?
But then to be fair,
I can't anymore with this shit.
Sooner or later, some of the people you have had to have worked for the WWE at some point.
Well, you
right?
would hope. You would hope. I don't get it.
Maybe we just hope that
I'm
MJF,
sure it'll be a good match.
Can MJF turn in that poker chip during that match? Or
Do it
How does that?
somehow.
But what's the rules behind that thing?
You know what would be an amazing swerve? How great would it? I know it will never happen, but if you really want, you're asking for MJF, right? You're asking, I think, that for MJF to leave that night with the world title.
Right.
How great would it be? Who's the one person in the company that can make up any rule he wants? Tony Khan. How sick of a swerve would it be if MJF comes out with Tony Khan and he tells the referee, like, you know, MJF hits the chair with the chair and Tony Khan instructs the ref, get the fuck in there and count 3. and Tony Khan and MJF and say fuck you to the fans. Could you imagine?
That's Tony Khan's dream.
It
Maybe
really
it'll
is.
happen. Not a bad idea.
Let me tell you something.
Book
If
it.
something like that happens, holy shit, the whole wrestling world would go upside down for a day or two.
All right, that's This Week in Wrestling.
That's right. You've been watching This Week in Wrestling, and until next week in wrestling, on behalf of Mr. Monte, this is the Pharaoh. Later.